All right, all right. I am super excited to interview this fantastic woman who I have seen grow over the years. Grace, I haven't spoken with you in moons, right? And just before I interviewed Angela Branch in terms of how she's winning and collecting $10,000 checks from her pitch contest. And
Yes.
she mentioned, she goes, Wick, you need to talk to Grace. I'm like, and of course I know who you are. I'm like, Grace? And she's like, yeah, Grace. Grace is killing it. And
Thank you.
I was like, our Grace? And she's like, yes, Grace. Right. So it was just wonderful to hear that. You and I have been chatting a little bit off the camera, catching up. And first of all, thank you so much. I know it's 8 o'clock at night there plus, and you just had some food, I reckon.
Yes.
All right, and I'm still here chugging coffee, trying to get through. So Grace, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been an esthetician? The name of your business? How did you get started in the aesthetics world?
My name is Grace Sibilia. My business is Graceful Skin and Body Spa. I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I've been an esthetician for about 9 years. And I've been in Hoboken for all of it. And how did I start becoming an esthetician? My husband was out of work for about 2 years, and I needed a second job that wasn't $10 an hour. So a friend whispered in my ear and said, "You would be amazing at this. You have experience, you love beauty, you sell retail." I was in retail, and you manage people, so you can work with anybody and you can do anything, so you can do this. So I listened to her and I went to school, and I did two full-time jobs for 3 years, and here I am.
That's awesome. And Grace, I these interviews are of six-figure estheticians. Grace is well into her six figs because of the hard work that she puts in. But more importantly, Grace, we want to get down into some of this nitty-gritty in terms of business. We were talking a little bit about how you are getting new clients, where they're coming from. So first of all, one thing that I noticed about Grace, I put a post out there, hey, who's got Google reviews? And I saw this little emoji with a hand go up, right? And it was Grace. And I was like, and again, I haven't spoken with Grace in it's been a few years, it feels like. And I go, oh, how much do you have? And then I went on her business page, her Google page, and I saw an easy number to remember, 222. 222 reviews. You do not get 222 reviews by luck. There's steps that are involved. There's a process. So before we get into things like that, Grace, 222 Google reviews. How on God's green earth did you get 222 Google reviews?
You have to ask. You have to ask.
Yeah. And so first of all, you know, so how do you, before I get into what I was going to say, how do you ask? What is your process to ask for those Google reviews?
So I do have other business owners, not just, in the beauty world, in any industry. I love to help them. They come up to me, ask me questions all the time. I do tell them, when you're starting your business, get all your friends and family to come have services with you, and you start getting your reviews there. Make sure that they're using keywords, guide them with their interviews, because they're your friends and family. They want to help you and support you. So you really want to guide it towards keywords and things that are going to show up for other people when they're looking at reviews, right? That count. And I always make sure that I do look at my schedule every single day. If somebody's seen me, I don't like to ask for reviews right away. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I know some people ask in the first session or first visit. I don't do that. I wait until minimum the third visit. And when I feel good enough to ask them for a review and they come out raving, that's when I'll say, if you have a moment, if you could leave me a review, it would help people just like you going through X, Y, and Z, and help them find me. And I have like a little sign with a QR code that they scan, and that's how I get it done. It's not easy. It's still uncomfortable for me to do, but I know it has to be done, and I take it like if you think of it as like you're helping other people instead of helping yourself with getting those reviews, that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. And and we were just talking about this a second ago, is the importance of you can be a fantastic esthetician, like exactly how Grace is. Grace is
Thank
caring,
you.
she's compassionate, she's a professional, gets results. But if people don't know you, if you are the world's best kept secret, then people are going to go to the esthetician who's a better marketer, maybe not a better esthetician, right? But a
Right,
better marketer. And
right.
that's just different. So a lot of the times, if you combine the two of the getting the reviews, because they are important, right? Especially
Yeah,
again for both sides of it. You're helping the client, you're helping future clients know more about you. And
right,
Google is the number one search engine. People, I would say most people, let's say all people, go there first in terms of to look up, hey, to search for acne specialist near me, or rosacea, or pigmentation near me, or whatever, right?
right.
So when people come in, and so is Google, would you, I think you mentioned before, is that your number one place to get new clients?
Yes. Google and referrals.
Yeah. How do you know that they came in from via Google?
I ask them when they come in. I have some set things in the system where I'll ask them, how did they hear about us? And if they say Instagram, I'll take it a step further and I'll ask them, do you remember if it was our Instagram or was it someone else's that had posted about us? Because you want to try to get as much data as you can, because that's going to help you continue to do what you're doing better, right? If they say so and so, they get some referral money, they get a referral. The person that refers them gets some referral money, and the person that is getting that service will also receive it. So it's a win-win with referrals. And just asking them and pressing a little bit further instead of them saying, Facebook, you want to know, you want to find out where as much as you can without, getting them annoyed and spending too much time on it. I always say, if you don't remember, it's no problem, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is important because the beauty business is just that. It is a business. And like any business, you can better do things if you have the numbers, if you have the data. If you go,
Right.
cool, I'm getting more people from Google. Let me do a little bit more with Google. I'm doing that. Referrals, you like you mentioned, you're asking. The same thing with Instagram. If they're going to Instagram, go, cool, okay. What, because those are like the buckets that you can spend a little bit more time on then and go, wow, I'm getting a
Mhm.
lot more in Google. Cool. Let me do this. And again, going back to the Google reviews help a lot. It just helps.
Yes.
A lot of people, when they have options, which they do, if you have 222 Google reviews, somebody else has 45, somebody else has 50, someone has 12, right? It's just easier for them to do that, and Google's going to bump you up higher on the page anyways, right?
Right.
So that is cool. What else? What else? Walk us through the steps of your day. What does your day typically look like before the actual service itself? How do you prepare for your day? How do you get things going?
So I usually leave pretty early. I like to have minimum 2 hours before my first client. I have a space that I have to clean every day. So I know a lot of people don't have that, which is great. But I like to clean everything every day, make sure everything's sanitized. And then once that's done, you set up for your client, your towels and everything like that, fine. Then I like to really dive into the day schedule and look at every single client's history. I do chart on every client. So I also have a client review checklist, and I'll go through that checklist for every person. If they're new, did they fill out the form? I'll print out the form and really look at it and look at their answers to every question so that I have some sort of background to discuss when they get there. If they've been coming to me for 10 years or, you know, 5 months or 10 days, they'll have something in their chart where I'll look through, I'll see when they bought their last products, what they bought, Was there a special occasion or something that we were preparing for? Just any type of information that I will need for this current session that we're doing, and that's going to help them and me and, help the session go better with whatever they need. Do they need a refill on their product? Do I need to prep for after pictures? Do they do a series? Is it their last facial before their wedding? Do I have, their card ready, their gift bag ready? It's just that's where I really spend the meat and potatoes of the day, is in the prep work for before they come in.
And the chart that you have, do you do electronic or do you have paper? What's your format?
It's electronic.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I don't know why I'm still old school. I still like paper,
Yeah,
except that my papers get all over the place, and then I'm like, electronic ain't too bad of an idea either, right?
I know.
Yeah, but it is what it is. So a lot of this preparation that goes in. Uh, One thing that we were talking about earlier is you and your social media, right? How has been your social media? What do you do for social media now? How does that working for you?
So I still struggle with social media. It has gotten a lot better. Um, I do have a problem being in front of the camera. I still don't like it, but I think I do a better job at hiding that. That's what everybody tells me. So I hired a different Instagram marketing manager, and he started with me in March. We put out our first batch of content in April, and people do notice your Instagram. Like I was telling you before, they look at Google reviews, and if they're torn between two places that they like and the reviews are really good, they're going to look at your Instagram page. They've
Hmm.
told me that. They're like, "Oh, I was choosing between you and so, and I looked at your Instagram. I'm like, yeah, that's where I need to go."
Yeah.
So
I
it's
need
been
to
really
check out
good.
I need to follow up on your Instagram to check it out because it like that's
It's
just
a work
that,
in progress. It's not anywhere where I want it to be,
no,
but I feel like
but
it's getting there.
but at least you're taking those steps, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're realizing that's money, right? If someone is torn between two people, two estheticians to go to, and they're like you mentioned, and that I do the exact same thing. I'm gonna look at the Google reviews. I'm gonna check out their, web page or whatever and stuff like that. And it's not like I'm going through and reading every single thing and, oh, what do they say here? It's just a good glance of like, cool, they look that, and I want to look at their social media. Does this person look like they're fun? If they haven't had a post on there for like 6, 7 months, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things I look at. I personally, as I'm doing things, I look at how do I make decisions. If
Right.
I'm buying something off of Amazon, I buy things all the time. I just bought a bunch of weird mirrors yesterday, and I looked at number one thing I looked at were reviews, right? Second thing I looked at were some of the pictures and stuff like that. And then I just looked at them like, oh, cool, this one looks good. But a lot of it is just based on pics, right? And the reviews. I'm not going
Hmm.
to go through things in heavy detail. I'm not buying a house, right?
Yeah.
It's not that big of an investment. It's more of saying, cool, do I feel comfortable doing this or going to this person or buying this product? Uh,
Right.
and go from there. So Instagram. One thing that you mentioned that you confessed to me was your that before you were a little bit shyer in terms of public speaking or doing talks, and one of the challenges you gave yourself was to do as many as you can. What's the deal with that?
I love a challenge. So if I find something that makes me feel really uneasy and uncomfortable, I try to get it head on, right? So I said to myself, I really hate public speaking. So I want every single public speaking opportunity to just come to me. So
Yeah.
I threw it out there in the universe, and it's working.
Yeah. So what kind of events do you do? What kind of public speaking do you do?
I like to talk about prenatal and postpartum, what effects it has on the skin. I talk about retention and how to recruit. I have over 30 years of experience in managing people, and I have a corporate background. I have medical background. I worked for an OBGYN for 16 years. I worked in retail for 17 years. Um, so I can talk about that. White glove service is one of my favorite topics to talk about. So
What's like web service?
white glove service is just how to elevate the client experience and how to do that in a sustainable manner to have a sustainable business because in the end they can write you a beautiful review. You could have made hundreds of dollars with that client, but if it's not sustainable, you're not going to have your doors open for very long. So it needs to be something that you can do consistently and make it sustainable, and how to do that. And that's really like one of the most fun topics I like to talk about.
So what are some of these white glove things or processes that you talk about, like in terms of steps or procedures or protocol or whatever?
So I like to throw statistics out there. I feel statistics are fun, they're relatable. For example, I talk about the five senses and how people that businesses that engage the five senses are 147% more memorable and have a better experience than those that don't. Um, the the sensory, how do you say it? The five sense
Hmm.
is the one sense that bypasses the the cerebral cortex in the brain, and it creates a memory. So
So
everything
smelling.
smelling. So what
Yeah.
it's something smells like, whether it's your space or you or your office, um, and how that can relate to your business. You know what I mean? So it's the one thing that people will remember and
Hmm.
create a memory to it, and they don't think about it, whereas all the other ones they do. So I found that to be really interesting, and I talk about that, and I go through the five senses and how they can incorporate it and how I've incorporated it in my business.
So what was the last talk that you did?
It was a couple weeks ago. I think it was the middle of July, and that was on white glove service.
Okay. And how did you find a place to talk or what's that process like?
Networking. So
Okay.
I do go to networking events. I met my friend Krista from Citizen Mobile Massage. Amazing mobile massages. She's the best. And we went to a networking event, and there was a bar there. And I said to her, "Don't I know you from somewhere? You look so familiar." And she thought I was trying to pick her up.
I know that line. You come here often?
Exactly. And I'm dying laughing. And my husband behind me hands her a business card. I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I'm so embarrassed right now. But it's so funny. We stayed friends ever since. And that was 3 years ago when I first opened. And she started a networking social, oh my gosh, she'll kill me if I don't remember. Self-care social. So she
Mhm.
started self-care social networking. And she saw how I started getting better and better at speaking and things like that. And she's like, you know what? I really want you to talk about white glove service, because when I go to your spa, it's like no other place that I've ever been to. Like, you really take every single little tiny detail into consideration. So during those talks, I do talk about before the client walks in, during, and post.
Yeah. And what have been the responses? Like I know whenever Angela was mentioning this before, is after she spoke or did that, some people will come up to her and talk to her. What have been the conversations of people that came up to you and talked to you after you spoke?
It made me go and put a form on my link tree to have people contact me, because the response was so heartwarming. I was like on cloud nine. They were like, "Oh my God, I have these things that I can apply today." I also go to talks with a handout. So I have the handout, and I ask them to do some homework. And I'll say, "What's one thing that you learned from today that you're going to take back to your business and change this week? Not next month, not next year, this week. And who's going to be your accountability partner for that?" So I have them write it out. I'll ask some to share. Usually they want to share, which is great. And then I also have at the bottom of that, it's it's a two-part where they give me, I have on there like, what did you learn from today's talk? What would you like to hear more of? What was your favorite part and things like that. And they'll give that back to me. And when I read those when I came home, they were just exhilarating, honestly. They gave me some great feedback, what they want to see more of, what they want to hear more of. Um, and it's really good to do that because then you can get better at what you're doing and you can know how to get better because it's on paper, it's black and white, it's something tangible, something that you can read, right? And then you can take steps to make everything better when you have that.
Yeah, and it's I always feel that some of those things they seem like they're hard to do, right?
Hmm.
Like it's again just because Angela's fresh in my mind. When she was going to her first pitch contest, she was talking about how she was trying to talk herself out of it, and I don't want to do this. People have that fear of public speaking, but once you get into it and you realize that you're in a room of people just like you, right?
Yeah.
And almost all, if not most of those people have that fear of public speaking. So by you just
Yeah.
stepping up, not saying that you're still not afraid, you might be nervous inside as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time that you're doing it, that's how leaders are made. It's like you are seen as a leader, as someone that is here to share this information, and you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You're trying and you're hoping that you can share something that's going to benefit somebody else. Right. So
Yes.
there's just a lot of positivity in that. And if that message is delivered with sincerity and
Yeah.
with all the experience that you have, and you're actually, practicing what you preach, uh, people can feel that, and
Yeah.
people will appreciate you doing that. And you do not know whose life you'll change by having and giving that talk, right?
Yeah. That's
So
one
so
thing I talk about. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, you go ahead. Forget about me. She's
Stop. That's
she's
one thing I talk about also is authenticity. You
hmm
know, you may look at me as an example of how I do something with white glove service, but if that's not you, don't do it. It has to feel natural. It has to feel like something that's authentic to you. So I always tell people that how do they show up authentically? And it has to come from a place of wanting to do better for not just for yourself, but for other people. And then I feel like it's easier. But
yeah.
authenticity is big. Like I ask people sometimes to open up their phone and open up your business pictures. And is that what it looks like right now if a client were to walk through the door tomorrow? Is this what you look like if somebody were to meet you tomorrow in your spa or your business or whatever it may be? So those kinds of things matter. What you look like on social media, is that what you're really like in person? Things like that.
Yeah, just keep it real in a world where I feel there's so much insecurity,
Yeah.
right? It's and I've heard this from hundreds of estheticians. I don't want to do video. I don't like the way I sound. I
Yeah.
don't like, the way, I don't like to see myself on camera. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, is that how they're gonna see you when they walk through your door? Right? Like they're gonna see you when they walk through that door. You
Right.
can't hide at that point, right? You're
Yeah.
not gonna wear a ninja mask or something like that and just be like, here I am, which would be fun, which would be beyond funny, right? I mean, I think there's a skit in there somewhere, but they're gonna see you, they're gonna hear you doing these videos and these talks that you do. It just gives them an opportunity to get to know you better faster. And the faster they
Mhm.
get to know you, the more trust you're going to build so they can potentially be a client or partner with you, like this massage therapist or whatever it may be. You don't know where the road's going to take you, but
Yeah.
it starts with you putting yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
So what was your fear of doing this before you actually put this upon yourself and go, I'm going to be doing these public speaking events. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. What stopped you before from taking that step and plunging right into it? Because you just dove into it.
I did, I did. I feel like a lot of people fear of failure. Um, that really will hold a lot of people back, especially if you have like a type A personality. It's hard to not succeed in something and just, you know, once I embrace, you know what? If everything fails, who cares? I put myself out there,
Yeah,
and if one sentence that I said helps one person, it's all worth it.
yeah,
So once I got to that kind of mindset, and really wanting to help other people because, behind the scenes when the cameras were off, they're like, "You have so much to offer. Like, I can't believe you just told me all this. Why can't you need to get on camera. You need to be out there. You need to talk to people about this because this is valuable information." And you're like, not talking to people about it. What's wrong with you? So, all the encouragement also helps too.
and sometimes that's all it is. It's just it's a kick in the butt.
Yeah,
But more importantly, what really helps is exactly what you put in that form, the accountability, right? Saying, hey, I know you don't want to do a video. You, you know it's going to help your business. It's going to help put you out there so people get to know you faster. Do the
right.
video. You owe me a video tomorrow, or whatever the step may be. What change are you going to make tomorrow in your business, or whatever that initial step is, right? So that's cool. So getting back to your business part of it now, what do you specialize in? What are the major treatments that you provide for your clients?
Um, the most treatment that I perform would be facials.
Hmm.
I have a lot of brides. I have pregnant women. I have athletes. Um, a lot of hyperpigmentation and acne.
And you mentioned before, what was it? You were the bride whisperer, the bride
That's what
whisperer.
that's what a couple of ladies called me, and it stuck. So I'll take it.
Hey, take that, that's a great industry to be in. How did you become the bride whisperer? Meaning, how did brides and weddings become something that you've been doing more of?
So I love me a good skin transformation, and if you tell me that I need XYZ change before my wedding, I'll give it to you. I love love. Um, I've been married for it'll be 20 years soon, right? And we've been married like three times because we had one wedding, we had another, and then I had a renewal of the vows in 15 after at 15 years. And I love weddings. I love everything to do with weddings. And I've never other estheticians or makeup artists, they're like, wait a minute, but they're the worst clients because they're bridezillas. I've never had a bridezilla. They've always been the absolute best clients that I've had. They're committed and they like to see results. And even if they don't need a skin transformation and you're just maintaining them for their wedding, it's awesome. I love it. I get excited.
Oh, yeah, good. I'm getting excited. It's like, jeez, right? And you know what? Again, that's the cool part about doing this is like when you're passionate about something, be passionate, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly what you mentioned, Grace. It's being authentically you, right? Like there's some people out there that like to do that, like to be a TikTok dancer. Cool. Hey, be a TikTok dancer. If
Yeah.
someone is a little bit more low energy and chill, be low energy and chill. I think a lot of the times is when people say, "Oh, well, this TikTok dance is trending. But maybe I should be doing this or doing that." It's like when you start following so many different things, at the end, I think even myself included, mainly, I look at myself is you at some point go, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm good at. This is what I believe in. Let me just stick with this because trying to be like somebody else, again, I like taking inspiration from other people,
Yes. Yes.
but I'll take that just as that as inspiration. And then I say, oh, I like how Grace said this. How could I say that my way?
Right.
Right? And make it a part of my message as opposed to you because your style is your style, right? It's like I want to be inspired by this, learn from that, and incorporate that in within my business and the way I do things. All right.
Right.
Very cool, right? That's awesome. And so going into business, uh, what do you do to keep the business flowing, right? You're successful. The reviews are coming in. You know, how what have you learned over the years that you feel have benefited your business and made you the successful woman that you are?
Oh, thank you for that. Continuing education, super important. I'll always take as many classes as I can, and I'll call Angela and be like, Angela, you want to take this class with me? And she's like, "Oh, yeah, let's do it." So having a partner to do that with is great.
Mhm.
And we both do it solo when we're not available, but we both believe in continuing education and never never taking anything for granted because your success today can be gone in a second. So you have to constantly be working and trying to see how you need to change things, be able to pivot, um, and just I'm always looking to see how I can improve something. For example, I've done my website probably 3 times over. And I'm always looking at different things. I'm looking at meta on the back end now and seeing how I can improve that, keyword rich search, um, looking at snippets and all these kinds of technical things that I didn't know about a year ago. And I put my little tech hat on because right now it's all about AI, right? So am I being searchable through AI? So those kinds of things never resting really, just trying to constantly improve, and it's a lot of work, you know what I mean? It's not the fun part of the business, but if you want to remain successful and profitable and sustainable, it's really it's really about hard work and how to make things better, and being able to evolve and change and not be afraid of it.
And you know what? It's like, would you consider yourself a technical person? Meaning, are you an IT geek?
Hell no.
Right? So you don't have to be technical, but it's your business, right? And technology is a part of it. You know what's interesting? I was talking to a gal yesterday, and she told me a client found her through Chat GPT.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crud. I go, I didn't even think about that, right? That
Yeah.
didn't even pop up in my mind because people are going through Chat GPT. I have acne, I have blackheads, right? What do I do? And Chat
Yeah.
GPT is basically a web scraper, right? It's going to go through Google and this and pull data from different places. ChatGPT is just another version for of Google and to some degree of just getting info and it however it works. I have no whatever it is what it is.
Yeah.
However, if your Google presence is strong and that esthetician was right, ChatGPT recommended her as one of the
Right.
businesses to go to or whatever, right? So it's similar to Google. If you go looking for skincare near me or whatever, Google's going to pick up those businesses that are has the words in there, the SEO words, the keywords, right?
Right.
And they look at the stars and things of that sort, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And your average ticket, what's your average ticket that you end up doing for your services?
250.
So 250. So is that considered high on in your area? Is that medium, low? Where do you put that?
Um, it's average in my area.
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
area, huh? 250 is not bad.
Yeah.
Jeez, right? And people keep coming back to you. How long do your clients typically stay with you?
Um, I mean, it depends. If they're looking for corrective, they will stay with me as long as it takes. But I mean, I've had women come back that I haven't seen for like 2 or 3 years. I
Mhm.
had somebody back the other day that I hadn't seen in 3 years. And, she explained to me how, like all of us, life gets in the way. She went to grad school and then she became a nurse and then she did all her master's. And it was just amazing to see her back on my schedule. So, um, Most like my you have to look at retention rate, right? My retention rate is pretty good. But again, always looking to improve things. So in order to improve your retention rate, you have to make sure you're rebooking and getting them at the point of checkout before they check anything out. Get them on the books, then ring them out because once you ring a person out, their mindset is already to leave.
Yeah.
And how you follow up with your clients is also really important. So, that's gotten better over the years. And that comes from experience too, you know what I mean? So I didn't have any mentor when I started doing this. I learned it on my own. I didn't have somebody that was able to sit and talk with me and teach me things. So all those little
What's your
things.
what's your current follow-up process for clients?
Between 3 and 5 days follow up. I know other estheticians do next day and things like that. For me personally, there's nothing wrong with that. I've just found that anywhere between 3 and 5 days is the sweet spot where if they start purging or anything, I'll offer them a complimentary 5-minute service to come back and I'll take a look at their skin and see what I can do to help with that. Um, I will follow up with a text. I will follow up with an email post service. So all of my services get like a post care email and they are all different. So if they get a different service, they're going to get a different post care email. So those are the two main ways that I follow up.
Are those automated or do you send them out yourself or do you have templates?
They can be automated. For the follow-up text, I do that personally. I can get it automated, but I choose not to at this time. I like to do that on my own and maybe put something personal that we had discussed during the service or, her things that she's looking for. The email is automated. That will come automatic at the end of the checkout. According to whatever service is paid for, that email will come to them automatically for post care.
Yeah, and you know what? To me, it's so important. Like in a world of AI, it's funky. When was the last time, Grace? Let me ask you a question. All right. When was the last time you received a card in the mail, like a thank you card or something like that, an actual card, other like any card, other than like Christmas, like not Christmas cards or birthday cards, but just a card in the mail?
It's been a while, but I remember when I received it and I was impressed.
Yeah. Right. See, so so much has changed. In the old days, it was all card, like it was all mail. Like I remember being younger, and we would get letters because I got family like in India, and we got a letter from them, and it was like a big deal. My mom would open it up and read it to everybody, and that was just a way of conversation and communication. And now in a
Yeah,
world where so much is automated, whether it's the emails or text or something like that, even to do a personalized text like you do, and like you mentioned, you include something personal in there to do that, right? I understand if somebody is so incredibly busy, they just, they got a huge office, but doing some of these small
right.
personalized things make a huge difference because I can tell when something is sent like automated, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't hurt to be able to personalize it if you can, especially if you have the time to show that little bit of appreciation. And like you mentioned, you throw something in there that you remember about the conversation or the service. It's nice, right?
yeah,
I think that's one of the things I love to do. I love to send thank you cards, right? I have a whole stack of them. So whenever I have clients that I'm working with or people that are new clients, I have like a stack of just thank you cards. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And they're like, dude, Wick, I haven't received a card like this in forever. I'm like, oh, like I just thinking about you. I was
that's
just
nice.
I was just
Yeah,
being appreciative and all of that.
that's
But stuff
awesome.
like that, it makes a difference. It helps. And it's funky because even when as I'm writing the card, we talk about manifestation. I really believe in energy and vibes. Like as I'm writing them, I will like put that energy in there. Like, you know what? Thank you so much for this. I really appreciated that. You really made my day. Thanks a bunch for everything, blah, blah, blah. And I'll send it out.
Yeah,
Why not? It doesn't hurt.
exactly.
It might do something, it might do nothing, but you're putting good vibes out there in the universe, helping people. Good
Yeah,
vibe, right?
exactly.
Right. So you're doing talks. How, what else in your business have you learned over the years that has made a shift from let's just say 3 or 4 years ago to now that you're seeing that is helping your business? And when I mean helping your business, I'm talking about, revenue, sales, just
Yes.
making money. Because a lot of the estheticians, that's their struggles. Like, hey, I'm just not making the money.
Yeah. I've learned that no matter how busy you are, you still need to make time to hit the pavement. Whether you need to knock on doors or, hand flyers to people or put it in their mailbox, don't be averse to that. That's important. But something that I always make sure that I continue to do is community events. I mean, my calendar is pretty full, and my days off are admin days and work days. But if someone asks me to do an event and I have enough time where I can clear the schedule a little bit or get out there and it's a day off, I will be there. I will be there hustling at that event. Like, I needed to make the rent tomorrow. You know what I mean? And it's that kind of mindset. Plus, it's fun. If you're not in your community doing events, how is anybody going to know about you? I mean, when you are constantly out there in different ways, you're top of mind. Do you know what I mean? That's why when actors, when they get older, and their roles become, few and far between, they're no longer top of mind. So they feel like people forgot about them. That may or may not be true, but in your business, you have to make sure that you kind of remain top of mind for people. And however you can do that, and that's, you know, authentic to you and that's feasible for you to do, I would highly recommend that. So for me, it's events, it's vending, it's supporting other businesses is another big one, especially anybody that's ever supported my business. You want to make sure you're not just supporting them with like a little heart emoji. I try to always make comments on their page as often as I can. Um, Keep up with what they're doing. And I have a huge amount of businesses in my town that have seen me as a client. Um, and we continue to have relationships after that. So it's not like a one and done. I'll invite people. I want you to come check me out, look at the spa, um, tell your clients about me. It's mutual support. And if you don't get that, it has to be mutual. It can't be one way. You can't expect somebody to give and give and give, and you have to give as much as you get or more for it to come back. And you have to want it to come back in a heartful way, not and like I always say, if you do what you love and it comes from the heart, the money will follow.
Yep. 100%, right? And again, it goes back to that authenticity, right? Not everything is I'm doing this for business. I'm gonna do this for you. Do this. I'm hoping you're gonna do this for me. It's like if you put it out there,
Yeah.
and it's funny. I did a video not too long ago about this. Is if as a small business, again, I want Google reviews, right? I want more Google reviews. That's like one of my top priorities. That is what I want. Cool. If that's what I want more clients, more Google reviews, more sales, more revenue. Cool. Let me put that out there. Let me and I talked and I mentioned, I go, when was the last time you Google reviewed another business? So as you talking about, small businesses you're supporting and small businesses that you're helping, what does that small business want? They want the same thing that you want. So
Right.
me, when I go to a business or anything of that sort, I will make it a point now, I haven't done this before,
Right.
now to leave them a Google review. I'll go out
Yes.
and I'll leave a glowing Google review. It'll be like a
Yes.
paragraph.
Yes.
And these matter. And I'll share a real quick story. So this one gal, and I was talking to you about it before, my girl Malia, she owns Naked Skin Waxing in Sacramento here in California. And she's got 451 Google reviews. And
Woo.
I went there to get my back waxed, right? Got a hairy back going on right there. I was like, all right, Malia. I was like, hook me up, girl. So got my back waxed, and I left her a glowing Google review But, and this is the funky part that I'm hoping other estheticians will can ask their clients to do as well, or especially if you're really buddy buddy with your client, is have them throw a picture in there. It doesn't have to be of that
Yes.
service, right? So I put a picture in there. I went on Google and I found a picture of a man with a very hairy back. And Grace, this back, I'll send it to you later, right? It was a man. He's basically got so much hair on his back. I go, hey, hey, thank you so much for waxing my back. I really appreciate how thorough you were and da 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 da. And I go, that this picture is not me, but it was close. I call it the Indian sweater, right? The hair was so hairy. I call it a sweater, right? That picture, because Google will send me updates and comments. Go, this
Yes.
picture's been viewed 10,000 times.
Yes.
Right. And I was like, the first couple of times, like, oh, hey, this picture's been viewed 50 times. I was like, when that picture hit 10,000, right?
Yes.
Again, it was just something funny and silly that I did, but I did
Yeah.
not know what a difference it makes because Google will put that on top. They'll see that traction. And
Yeah.
now, again, is it helping her, not helping her? I don't have the metrics for it, but I would lean on the helping side that, hey,
Yeah.
people are looking at that picture, they're laughing, or, they see you with a client who's leaving a Google review and you're hugging or she's right there or whatever it may be, it makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
So the words that they use, adding pictures, right? You're nodding your head. What are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, you definitely have to, when you feel comfortable enough, it's not for everybody, but
Yeah.
ask for what you need. So, I do ask them if they want to include a picture, that would be amazing. Because it does, I forgot what the exact words, but it does like push that review up somehow. I'm
Hmm.
not, technologically savvy on that, but it does something. And whenever I do leave reviews at other businesses and it gets reviewed like a million times, I will screenshot that and I will send it to the owner so that they
Yeah.
can see how powerful reviews are. Because I want them to ask for more reviews for their business and they can see it and they're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, like, you got it. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you said, ask, right? A lot of the times, whether it's that fear within us, if you have that relationship, and I like the way that you do it, I'm not a huge fan of the immediate text that goes out
Yeah.
of somebody will, like Gloss Genius or some of these other services, they'll send that automatic text. If you like my service, I'd appreciate a Google review or whatever it is, right? To me, it's just different as opposed to, let's just say there's a higher chance that if I'm a recurring client, that I would leave that because I'm more sincere about it.
Right.
All right. So it's like, hey, that makes a difference. So Hustle, what kind of community events do you go to? Like you talked about, if you have that opportunity, go out. What are these events that you're hustling at?
So I was just asked to do two events in September. One of them is going to be, it's called a Hoboken Renew event. It's with a cafe that's running it, and this cafe has five different locations.
Hmm.
And it's a cafe that I've wanted to partner with previously, but haven't been successful with. And they did ask me to go to this event, and I'm like, I am there. This is what I'm going to be doing. I'm so excited because they have a huge community,
Hmm.
and I love their food. I love what they're about. And that's another thing to make sure that you partner with things that align with you and that you feel good about and
Yeah,
excited about is important, because that brings spark back into the business. And when you spark up and feel something, they feel it. You know what I mean? So it's contagious. I was asked to do another event for another networking event, and this is going to be 2 weeks after that other one, September 20 something. So I'm going to be doing something there. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing at that one, but I definitely always want to make it fun and something that where I'm able to talk to people and touch people at these events that I vend at. Um, and I am hoping to do a talk at I'm not going to say the name of it and everything because nothing's solid, right? But hoping
Mhm.
to do a speaking event at a gym that is for pregnant and postpartum women. And she wants me to do a talk on pre and postnatal skincare. So I already have like the whole talk lined up and everything. So I was so jazzed up when she asked me. So right away I started like writing. So those kinds of things I like to do. I like to go to Hoboken museum events. Fun things like the feasts and the fairs in town because you want to be out there in your local community. I don't live in where I have my business in Hoboken, but I grew up there. My whole family's still there.
Mhm.
So I try to make sure that I support local, whether it be, businesses, restaurants and things like that. And then I show that I'm supporting local and people know that I do.
Yeah. So these events are is that where like you set up a table or a booth or something of that sort?
Yeah. Set up a table. And, just I try not to, I don't like to sell things at events. Um, for me, I like to do more personal things where I'm able to talk to people more and not have to worry about like doing those transactional things. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I try to get like where I can talk to them one on one and in group, do something fun.
Okay. And do you like do you try to get their contact somehow or like how do you create that? Because I think that's a lot of the time to get these events is you want to be able to get someone's contact, you want to be able to follow up with them. Uh
Yeah.
do you just talk about like the skincare? Meaning how if I were to come to your table or I'm just walking by, how would that interaction be?
So sometimes I'll have different things. Sometimes I'll do like that little raffle spin wheel thingy and have some fun things on there.
Hmm.
I'll usually always have like dishes of free things that they can come pick up. Like I'll have inspirational keychains, like "You are amazing," "You are enough," things like that. I'll have masks, sheet masks at the table that they can just grab complimentary.
Yeah.
If people pay for a ticket for the event, I'll get them like a little goodie bag with some cute little things in there that they can use. So it's, little things like that. Try to make it, where if you come up to the table, and you ask me questions, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to anybody about anything. I love dogs. I'm a mom. Um, I love the community. It's my favorite town in the entire world. I love spending time there. I love the people there. Um, so if you ask me about anything, I'll be able to talk to you about it. And, if people ask, "Oh, how long have you been in business? What do you do?" I'll always make sure that I give them my card and I'll have a QR code there for new subscribers, because that's where I'm headed right now to try to grow my email marketing list.
Nice.
They get a discount as being a new subscriber. And it's just a QR code that they scan. And sometimes I'll do a complimentary raffle for a free chemical peel or a free facial or something for people that sign up for Instagram, for new Instagram followers. It just depends. Sometimes I'll do both. Sometimes I'll just do one.
No, it's just cool that, one, you're out there in the community. You know what's funny? It's very interesting, is businesses in general are run and we depend on strangers to pay us, right? Right?
Hmm.
So those strangers we're not gonna just find just randomly sitting at home on a computer. And every now and then, like I'll be on I'm on all these groups and I'll look at different conversations, like and an esthetician will say, hey, how do I get the number one thing, business is slow. How do I get new clients? How do I get new clients? I have my website up, I'm doing posts on social media. And then I'll look at their social media and it's going to be a generic post of, hi, I have openings on this day, or it'll be a huge post on all the services that they provide. And I think a lot of estheticians are underestimating the amount of work it takes in this very loud social world that we're in of
Yeah.
what it takes to get a client, right? It's not just making that generic post and putting it out there and waiting for people to walk through that door,
Yeah.
right? So the fact that you're mixing it up there, you're working on that, your Insta page, you're actually face to face in the community with strangers who
Yes.
can potentially be clients, right?
Yes.
Is it nerve-wracking to talk to these strangers, or is it just another conversation?
If there's no camera in front of me, it's not nerve-wracking. When the camera shows up, that's when I get like, I clam up. But no, I find it fun. I find it
Yeah.
really fun. In the beginning, it was a little bit more nerve-wracking because I had never done it before. But
Mhm.
the more you do them, I find the more fun they are, and I'm I'm more at ease. And when you're more at ease, they feel more comfortable coming up to you and talking. They can just feel it, you know?
And it's interesting because people in general that from my experience that I've seen that come to these events, they're nice people. That's why
Yeah.
they're coming to the event.
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
It's like they are coming there to an event. They know there are going to be vendors there. It's
Yeah.
something to do, to see what's going on. So and so's makes trinkets, so and so's got keychains. They're there to support local vendors, communities, small businesses, because
Right.
why else would they be there?
Right.
Right. So,
Yeah.
they're there for that purpose. You are one of those purposes. Go out, reach out and talk to them because you'll be surprised how somebody that is doing something completely wrong to their skin based on TikTok, YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, and that's a great way to turn into it. So, what are some of the things that you've seen from newer clients that now they're coming to you? What are some of the things that you've seen them do wrong in terms of what they've tried with skincare or treatments before, and now they're coming to you?
Um, I would hate to say that they're doing anything wrong. For me, I don't feel like judgment needs to go in there at all. Like a lot of people are really embarrassed to say, well, I really don't do anything, or I don't want to make them ever feel judged.
Mhm.
And, they'll say, oh, I use CeraVe. I know it's not the best. I'm like, why? If CeraVe is working for you, I want you to continue using it. If it's happy and it's working,
Yeah.
let's not change that. Maybe we can change this. So some things that I've seen is, they try to use the same skincare as their best friend because their best friend has perfect skin and it's not working for them. Or they'll follow, the latest TikTok trend and wind up with really sensitive and irritated skin. Um, or what else? Just trying to buy things that are things that their friends use or that's trendy, like I said, or just buy whatever they can get their hands on without really knowing anything about the products or the ingredients or anything for their skin, and not seeing an esthetician and taking their recommendations. I mean, I do have a client that I'm currently working with now, and she told me that she has a plan for her skincare routine. And I was like, okay, we didn't talk about that. So I was wondering where she got that from. So I said, all right, tell me a little bit more about it. Like, what do you want to
Yeah.
do? Like, what do you have in there? And she's like, well, I, me and ChatGPT, we had this whole long thing. And she showed me, she had like a spreadsheet, like she wasn't joking. I was like,
Mhm.
wow, okay. I didn't say anything about her not taking my recommendations or anything like that. I would never want to do that, never make her feel judged or bad or anything like that, right? It's not about that. If she
Mhm.
feels that this is going to be the best course of action for her skin,
Yeah.
let her have at it, right? I'm not going to say anything bad about it. So she did say at the end, unless you think of something else, I said, you know what? Why don't you go with your plan? And if you get stuck anywhere or something doesn't work out for you that you're trying, I'll be more than happy to have a recommendation ready for you.
Mhm.
And that way it takes the pressure off her, takes the pressure off me. And I know that she'll feel comfortable then if something doesn't work, that she's not going to be like with her tail between her legs and coming to me. She'll be like, you know what, that vitamin C, I don't like it. Do you have another one that you could recommend? It's not working for my skin. It's whatever. And, so that's what I'm seeing.
And I really like the way that you handle that. And the reason why is it's hard to change someone's mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's one thing I don't like to do either, is like I'll ask questions,
Yeah.
but if someone feels that that plan is, the younger version of me is like, hey, that's stupid. What's wrong with you? You
Right. I'm the
should.
expert.
It's like, you're here for a reason talking to
Yeah.
me, right? The younger version of me would do that. The older version of me is, I cannot change someone's mind unless they're ready to listen and they want my advice,
Right.
right? So
Right.
one of the things I am improving upon myself is I try to give less unsolicited advice unless someone is actually asking me and they want to hear and they want those some options or solutions or what have you, right?
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's just me.
No, that comes with time. Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, what are some in terms of referrals? I know you talked about you offer incentive as well. Referrals you mentioned was probably is it number two in your list of how you get new clients or?
Yeah.
Cool. So how do the referrals work? How do you get referrals? Do you ask? What's your process for referrals?
I make sure that all my new clients get some referral cards. Even current clients, whenever they purchase something, I will always put referral cards in their bags. It looks like a little gift card, so it's really pretty. It's $25 for the person who refers and for the person that they're referring it to, so that they both get that $25 off whatever they want. It doesn't have to just be a service; it could be anything.
Yeah.
Um, and then I also work with a business coach, Maxine Drake. She is amazing. We worked together for a little while and we came up with this promotional referral program for the holidays for your VIPs. You offer them whether it be $50 or 100, whatever you feel comfortable with that you can do. And those are your best clients. You want to get more clients like that.
Yeah.
So giving them an incentive to get more people just like them in, right? And giving them something that's special because they are special. And everybody says it costs more money to get a new client in the door than it does to maintain your clients and keep them. So that's where you want to invest in as well. Just really thinking about not just always getting the new ones in the door, which you do have to think about and never forget that part, but also how are you keeping your clients that you currently have?
Yeah. You know what? That you just reminded me of something is VIPs, right? VIPs in terms of a business are critical.
Yeah.
And like me, I have a list of my VIP clients that I work with for my business. And every month I mail them something. Like just weird tchotchkes. Like I'll just get like weird things off Amazon. And these aren't like expensive stuff, but I picked these up just yesterday. And these are like just little mirrors, right? And it says, sometimes you forget you're beautiful, so this is your reminder. And it's just like a little compact,
Aw,
it's just a little compact mirror that opens up. I like
I
to,
love that.
yeah, oh, these are like super cute, right?
So
And
cute.
I have like a list of things, just like, it's just a little mirror, right? Super cute.
Yeah.
And it costs more to ship it or mail it than what the thing is worth. But I like to give things like that to important clients because one, like you could send like a thank you card and stuff like that. Again, those are nice as well. I like to give things that people will not throw away,
Right.
right? Like this isn't something that maybe they'll keep in their purse or whatever, but they'll put it in a drawer or something of that. Like I have a drawer of things that I'm like, this is kind of useful. It's like, like just random stuff. But those are just constant little reminders. So how I think is like I work with a lot of business people, they have a desk. So I will send them things that they will put on their desk or put in a drawer. So, and it's exactly what you mentioned before, top of mind, that when
Hmm.
they are looking for something or whatever it may be that I'm doing for them, they'll look at their desk, and my goal is to own the real estate on their desks, right?
Mark.
So small, just small things like that are like you said, they're worth it. So when it does come time to they have somebody or they're in the middle of a conversation and they're like, "Oh my God, your skin is so beautiful. Where do you go?" Go, "Psh, Grace, right? You're just on top of that mind and VIP. So that's a beautiful way to celebrate them.
Mhm.
One thing I think about before is like, at some point having the business at such a level, maybe once every 3 months hold a VIP event
Yeah,
where you have like a restaurant and you get like a DJ and you
yeah,
just do food like a little mini party or a bowling night. Go, hey everybody, we're gonna have a bowling night or like a client appreciation night or something, right? I like doing
yeah.
things like that because one, they're putting people together. Two, they're all your buddies anyways,
Right.
right? And then three, the social media pictures are phenomenal. Like the pictures you get, like, oh my God, we're up to
Exactly. Yeah. It's fun.
yeah, business can be fun. It's a ton of work,
Yeah.
right? There's no way around that. And one thing you mentioned is, you're doing well with your business, and you mentioned that you are working your your ads off. I believe the word was before you fixed it, right? I'm working my ads off on my business, right? So how are you working your rear off in your business? How is it a ton of work? Because those numbers aren't just coming by you just sitting back.
Um, Analyzing your numbers and seeing where your business is coming from, where you need to improve, making sure that you have, sorry, making sure, I can't see you. There you go. Making sure that you have events and things that you're on the books for to attend or be a part of. Um, you know, Working the hours that clients need you to be there. I mean, when I worked in retail and I saw all the spas closed at like 6 and 7 at night, I was like, damn, don't they know that people want to get their facials after work and we work late? So I do work late. My last client sometimes is, you know, at 8:30 at night. And that's a late night, but it's what my clients are requesting. And not a lot of people are willing to do that. And I'm one of those people that are willing to do it. So it keeps my nights pretty booked out. You just have to continue to look at things on every aspect, whether it's what are you sending out to that client? What does that post care look like? When's the last time that you looked at it? Does it need freshening up? Does it need updating? Looking at your website offers, does anything need to be refreshed? Looking on the back end of things, looking at are you looking at blogs and SEOs and SEO marketing and your emails and just looking at all different areas of the business, but looking at it, and I hate to use the word constantly, but
Mhm.
you have to really get your hand in everything very, very often. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of admin work. It's a lot of labor, physical labor, but it's a labor of love. It's something that if you don't love doing, it's going to be really hard for you to do. And I love doing it. And sometimes it's hard for me to do, but I know that I need to do it to continue to be successful because you know, you're only as successful as your last month, right? That's what they say.
And that's a great way to summarize a business, a successful business, right? Let's clarify a successful business. It's not sitting and posting every now and then on the social media and thinking, hey, I'm posting, hey, I have my Gloss Genius website up, and that's it, right? That can take you so far, and some people are doing that and they're getting clients, but if you really want to hit six figures and above in this industry, right? It's hard to do that if you're not doing all of these things that you're doing, right? It's like I honestly do not know a way to get to that level of success unless I'm paying attention to these details, constantly have my finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
like what you're doing, coming into the space ahead of time, looking at the clients that you have, looking at the information about them, what you need to do, then doing the business side of it, whether it's the website or the social. And uh, so you hired a social media person before. Were you just doing it yourself? What made you do that switch from you doing it to hiring somebody to do it?
I never did it on my own. I
Yeah.
had to always have somebody, because I don't know what I'm doing with social media. I'm really bad at it. But I know what I want the outcome to be. And my first year it didn't work out with that person that I had, and didn't like the direction it was going in. So I hired somebody else, and it started going really well. And that person could no longer do it. She's my cousin. She's the best, and she started taking more and more work on where she was, unable to do the social media for me. And she turned me on to this other person, and we talked, and we are the same mindset. He actually will answer my text the same day. And I know if he doesn't respond right away, he's busy doing his thing, but he'll always get back to me. We both have a really good work ethic. We both work our asses off. Um, and we both, I mean, I want him to be as successful as I am in his, because he's doing such an amazing job. I have a photo shoot coming up next week that it's a staff one. So it's going to be like freshened up pictures of the staff. And I said, "You're part of my staff. Like, I want you there." He's like, "No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no." I'm like, "No, yes. You are my managing my social media marketer. You are part of my team.
Yeah.
I want you to be on there. I want other people to see who you are and hire you. You know what I mean? Like I want your name out there." And he was like so adamant about not being there. Then he finally was like, "Okay," you know what I mean? So he's going. Same thing from my email person. Those are the people that support you. You know what I mean? And they're part of your team. And you have to like shout them out as much as they want to shout you out. So yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know what to do about it. So
no,
I had to hire.
no, that's awesome. And that's one of the good parts about being successful in any business is you're able to share that. One, it makes your life easier because like you mentioned, you didn't, you weren't a whiz at your social media, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's not a bad thing, right? Like again, we play with your strengths. There's some
Mhm.
things I can dabble with, and then there's some things that I just know I absolutely suck at. I was like, if someone is a 1 or a 2 out of 10 on their social media, they can spend 50 hours and maybe become a 3, but a 3 still
Right.
sucks, right?
Yeah.
So if at some point you're successful enough and you can hire somebody, now you got this. And you know what warmed my heart, Grace, is the way you're talking about your social media manager guy, right? It's like, hey, I want you to be in here too, right? Like
Yeah.
that person, like if that was me, I would feel so special. I'm like, oh my God, she wants me there too. I'm not just some random person, but I see this theme in the way that you work and the way that you are. And it's that genuine person that just a kind soul, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're not too bad. Yeah,
I
yeah,
tried.
yeah. So what else am I missing? What like any other lasting words for estheticians out there? Because the common thing is I want new clients. I'm struggling with my business. I don't know if I should keep doing this. And a lot of the times from my standpoint, I always see the same things. It's like the social media, the posts are just those generic posts of services that you offer, some just generic posts, and not doing the road work that you're doing, right? So what is your message? Because I have a philosophy: if you can do this and you can be successful, anyone can do that, right? If you can do it, anyone can do it. Right? So what are your words of wisdoms to those peoples?
I see a lot of women coming out of school and opening up their own business. And I never wanted to do that. I got actually thrown into it because I got let go of somewhere and didn't even know it was coming. But for me, it would have been super hard to own my own business without having some sort of clientele. Um, so that's something to think about. Trying to build some sort of clientele and not to poach from that business that you're at, but getting a name and a reputation out there for yourself. You know, any place that I've ever been at, I never would tell any clients that I was leaving, or anything, or try to contact them when I left. I think that's just bad karma,
Mm.
and I wouldn't want that done to me. So I've never done that to anybody else. So, but the clients will find you, and if you have a good name and a reputation out there, they will find you. They'll find you and they'll want you to do their work, whatever you do, they'll want you to work on them. Um, so that's the first thing. One of my first recommendations I'd make. Second is um, I like my social media to be educational, informational, but also fun. Um, my favorite posts to do are fun ones, but you know, we can't always do just fun, right? We have to give them some sort of education. That's another reason why they see us, right? So just mixing it up. You know, you can't be like all professional and formal and stuffy, which I felt my Instagram was like that. So we're trying to inject more fun into it, and he's trying to help me figure out how we can do that. So you know, doing that, and you know, pounding the pavement. You can do as much as you can do on the tech side of town, like you know, sending out emails and Instagram messages and social media, you know, all of that. But, you know, you need to get out there. You need to be in front of people. They need to see your face. They need to talk to you. They need to see your smile. They need to see how genuine you are about helping them because uh, that's how, I mean, think about it. When you are dating, they could look great on paper, right? But and look great on that app, but you want to meet them in person to see if you're a good fit.
Mhm.
So you need to just get out there any way that you can and you know, support other businesses and figure out how you can create relationships there so that you can, they're a source of referral for you. And that's huge. And getting those Google reviews, if you do decide to open up your own business, making sure that you're starting out with some really amazing reviews, friends and families that have genuinely had your service and they genuinely feel amazing about that service. Um, Guide them in how to get those Google reviews so that they rank higher, guide them in, you know, keyword rich SEO, word usage that sounds real and authentic, that they feel. Throwing a picture in there is great. So it's, you know, those kinds of little things that I would recommend.
Yeah, little things go a long way, right? Little things and uh running a business, it's not it's not hard stuff. It's a lot of small things that if you do consistently pays in the long run, right? Like none of this stuff is you're not in Arizona roofing in the middle of summer, right? That's hard work. It's 120 degrees. You're on top of a roof. You know that is hard labor, right?
Right.
Going out, being at a table, a community event, being at a position where we're so and one last quick question. How did you get into talks? So for example, you're doing all of these talks. How did you become the talker? Meaning, how did you become that like where people are asking you to talk about, the paternity and this and this and this? Uh, how? If that makes sense.
Um, just enough people telling me that the information that I've given them when they ask for, you know, advice is just so amazing that I need to share it. And I've heard it enough times that I'm like, all right, you know, I really do want to help people, you know, not just in the treatment room, outside of the treatment room with any kind of business that you have. And I do have the experience. So I can be multifaceted. So things that are not just skin based. So yes, do I have skin talks? Yes, but I have motivational speaking. Um, I come from very humble means, right? So, we live with cockroaches, and the exterminator would come and he would put, I swear, this is not even a joke. He would put the umbrella on and pop it open inside, because as he exterminated, the cockroaches would be falling from the ceiling.
Oh
So
yeah.
people look at me and they see things and they're like, they couldn't believe that I come from those humble beginnings, right? But it's things like that, that if I could just help someone in that situation, growing up with parents that were, my father was a compulsive gambler, my mother was an opioid addict. If I can help that person that feels like so helpless that they're never going to be anything or get anywhere in life, then that's it. That's my goal. Um, I was successful in retail, ended my last year in retail as department manager of the year in Bloomingdale Short Hills. Manage people to this day that come back and say, you were the best manager we've ever had. Um, just having the experience behind it and being able to help other people so often with and giving my advice freely. I don't care, they said, yeah, you need to talk more about this. So I'm starting to do it, and I love it. It's so rewarding.
And you know what? That is a beautiful, beautiful things. And a couple of things that I took away from you is one, sincerity, right? Be sincere. It's like when I'm talking to you, it's like I just feel it, right? And I think the world we live in, we're so surrounded with bullshit, right?
Yeah.
There's just so much from the ads and people trying to sell this and sell that, that I think people are just getting smarter. We all have this little radar, these little antennae on our heads, and I can feel like this person's full of shit or this person's doing this or right. So when someone is sincere, right, we can feel that too. But it's just it takes a little bit more from because I'm so conditioned to think people are liars in this world
Yeah.
that when I run into someone that is sincere, it's I feel the sincerity, but it's good that it's backed up with data. So for example, let's just say you, right? Like you sound sincere, but then you're backed up with the 202 Google reviews, right? You're doing
Hmm.
these public community events. So all of these things are giving it's kind of like being at a court. It's giving additional documentation and proof that yes, Grace is a good person. She really isn't just saying this and is full of shit. So these small little things really add up and become a part of you, your business, and your persona. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a
No?
whole package.
Yeah. And that's a good way to look at the business is if you want to be successful and reach these levels of success, it's 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 easy, but it's a lot of work,
Right.
right? It's not there's no heavy lifting. You're not lifting bricks upstairs kind of heavy, right? But it is a lot of the work. It's paying attention, looking at what works, what can be changed, and things of that sort. And again, Grace is like you mentioned before, you're not a tech whiz.
Hmm.
So if you can do this, right, and look at these small things, then anyone can do it. And that's just awesome. I'm super proud of you. I'm like,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm beyond. So last final message to all the estheticians out there that are thinking, some are thinking about quitting, some don't know what to do. What's your final piece of advice?
Make a list of pros and cons of why you want to do what you want to do. Pull your numbers and your figures and do whatever your gut and your heart tells you to do. And that'll be the right thing.
Wow. There you go. So Grace, thanks a bunch. Stick with me for a second. Everybody, this has been Grace with her advice. Successful, super cool, down-to-earth gal, right? And with great actionable items. Get out there, go to the community, find local events. You may be nervous, do it. You'll be surprised, just like the Grace mentioned, there's some good people that you'll meet out there, get good at your industry, start doing talks. What would you talk about? Go do events, right? The more you put yourself out there, the more people will look at you and go, hey, can you speak at our thing? Hey, but no one's gonna know about you unless you step up and you speak out. Cool. Peace. On.